I guess it kind of ties back in whenever we went to the jail, like for me, I guess I'm kind of like, well, why don't you just not be depressed? Like, why, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't understand mental illnesses because I don't have one.
Right.
And I feel, and he talks about that, he's like, all these people think it's so easy to go change things,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not in the system, like, you don't understand.
Right. And I think that's getting harder and harder for our generation, because what you're saying is it's hard for you to understand. It's hard for you to understand being in somebody else's shoes, right?
Right.
Well, that for me is empathy. Being able to understand.
Not entropy. Empathy. Sorry.
Empathy.
No, it was a chemistry joke. I'm sorry.
Such a loser. Such a loser. But
Okay.
oh my God, you made me go off track. Empathy. Back to empathy. Going back to how you could say like cynical our generation is. Like they don't care what your situation is.
Right.
And that could be probably because they genuinely don't care, or because they lack the ability to understand your situation. Like,
yeah.
I'm sure if someone was going through a tough situation, they could just be like, oh, I don't care, that's your stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am.
Yeah, but if definitely, that is definitely how you are. But say, for example, say, focus on you. If you're going through a tough situation, and you're trying to fight it, well, who are you going to turn to? You can't turn to anybody, because nobody's going to empathize with you.
Because I didn't empathize with other people?
No, because our generation lacks empathy.
Yeah, because we just don't care, because we are cynical.
Right.
I don't know. I kind of want to get to, I think it's the second chapter where he talks about a means and ends.
Mm-hmm.
And
Go ahead, keep on.
what are you doing?
I'm getting something to drink, my throat's dry.
So stupid. Well, I think he kind of starts off with like rhetorical question, does the end justify the means? And I think that's always something to think about. Okay, well, when he says means, does he mean like the purpose of behind we're doing, or the means as to which we get to something?
The means of which we get to something.
See, I think he's a dirty guy. I think this guy plays by dirty rules.
Well, I think we play dirty. I mean, like before we started the video, we were talking about the atomic bomb, right?
Yeah, because he talks about that.
Yeah. And I think that today that we know that there are certain moral implications that go with using an atom bomb. I mean, you're killing tons of people. What does that mean?
Right.
As us as humans who shouldn't kill one another. But I think we do fight dirty. I mean, it's easier to backstab than to actually just confront somebody and have to deal with opposition.
Yeah, okay, he says somewhere in there, we wrote it down, where the outsider, like, you should hit him with arguments. It's in there. You should you should hit him with arguments that they're not prepared for, or they're not. Am I missing the point?
No, I see what you're getting.
Like that, like it's like you consider it strategic. Like, say we're having an argument, and I like bring in something that has nothing to do with the situation.
Right.
That doesn't seem like justified means. That seems dirty. It's dirty strategy.
I think everything would be. I think everything's open game at this point. I mean, I'm thinking about.
So do you think all ends justify every means?
No, I don't.
But that's just kind of what you just said.
Well,
You think that's not true. There should be. I think there should be rules, and he talks about all the rules of ethics.
Well, the
and means.
The comparison I'm making with this is that of elections, right? You have two candidates and they're mudslinging at each other. They're digging up dirt that goes back way from their childhood. And I mean, does that make it right? Like, should something that they did in their childhood or their teen years affect their election campaign 40 or 50 years later.
Right. Oh man, this one pisses me off.
What?
The third rule of ethics and means and ends is that in war, the end justifies almost any means. That is complete bullshit. How does war justify almost any means in the end? You just killed tons of people for some stupid cause. That's how I feel.
Well, and I think that's how a lot of people would
Well,
feel.
okay,
but
so wait, he talks about the Nazis though. So is he saying that for them, World War II, right? World War II. Is he saying from the point of view of the Nazis that that would all be okay? Like all that war would be okay if they would have gotten what they wanted. So it's like, is it okay for us to go to World War II and kill a whole bunch of Nazis because we got what we wanted? That seems like a whole perspective thing.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Like, I mean, it seems messed up, but coming from, okay, if you're German and the Nazis won, you'd be proud, right? Or let's say us using, back to the atomic bomb, us using the atomic bomb in Japan.
Yeah.
We weren't, I mean, there was a little bit of shame, but not enough to be unpatriotic. We were very proud of our country because we helped end World War II.
Right.
Right? And so at that point it doesn't matter. All that matters is winning. From a war standpoint. But I think that's a flaw in his perspective, at least in this situation, is that he talks about war. Well, rules of war and rules that we go by
Every day.
are completely different. But that could be caused from the fact that he understands being radical as being a soldier to fight. I don't want to say oppression, but that's been ingrained in us. To fight the system. That's what we use, the system.
Well, I also just think it has to do with perspective, like what perspective you're in and what side is whether the means justify the ends. Because I know we keep using the atomic bomb, but he talks about that if the atomic bomb had been developed shortly after Pearl Harbor, when we stood defenseless, blah, 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 and we would have used it, then the use of the bomb would have been hailed as proof that good inevitably triumphs over evil in our point of view. So I think it all has to do with perspective, like, because I'm sure, you know, me hitting you, just take this example,
right.
Like me hitting you, like, you know, I don't like you very much, so my means of hitting you and the end result that you being hurt is good for me, but for you, you're probably just devastated because I'm super strong.
Oh yeah, really strong.
But I just think it has to do with perspective. So I think it's really, really iffy when he gets into ethics of this thing. Like,
I think so too.
I really don't think you're able to play a good game, clear fight. Like, you have to play dirty. I think to make change or to cause reactions from people or.
I think his perspective is very one-sided. I think that.
So you. Okay, keep going.
Well, I'm thinking about the example he used, right? Pearl Harbor. Well, we faced that same situation how many, is it 9 years ago, right? It was September 11th. We were attacked almost in the same manner that we were attacked back in Pearl Harbor. But we refrained from using the atom bomb. I mean, granted, we went to war, but
in the wrong country. Don't even get me started on that. I'm so mad about that.
I'm going to tread delicately on this then.
No, just say it. It just pisses me off. It makes me angry.
I mean, we went to war, but did we do that because we were fighting for good, or did we do that because we were pissed off?
We're pissed off for revenge. Otherwise, we would be in another place. No, we were.
So we were fighting for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
So I'm trying to see, how does that relate back to Pearl Harbor? Because when we joined World War II, did we join it because we were pissed off, or did we do it because we wanted to retaliate? Would you say it's the same thing? We did it because we wanted to retaliate.
I guess. You know, I want to say it was for retaliation. I don't think it was to end the war.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we didn't start out thinking, well, all right, we're tired of this, let's end it. But